Well, all right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hey, y'all. We're live. We're gonna go ahead and talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And actually, I mean, before we really get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, we do got a few things that we're gonna talk about before we get into the episode. All right. First things first. Nene Leaks, formerly of Real Housewives of Atlanta, is dropping more content over there on her channel. And I know y'all probably be tired of hearing me say this amongst other things. Okay. I'm proud of Nene. Period. I am proud of Nene for being consistent. All right. It's something she's talked about for a very long time, and I'm proud that she's continuing to push through and bringing something to the platform for the people. All right. Sometimes you got to get out your own way. So good for her, good or bad. However, it's working for her or not working, she's doing it. So she'll learn on her way. So with that being said, right, and seeing that Portia's doing her thing and Kenya's doing I'm sorry, Nene's doing her thing, it makes me come to Kenya. Kenya, I feel like you broke the internet just a little piece, okay? At least over there in the YouTube land or the YouTube/slash Real Housewives land with the video when you did your confessionals, okay? She got tons of views over on that channel, a lot of eyes on you, and don't know how busy or non-busy her schedule is these days, but it definitely question and makes me be like, hey, can you do the Kenya Moore show of some sort? You know, do it in your salon. Maybe bring in some hair experts or whatever and talk about things, you know. Maybe you could bring in Miss Candy if she's available, or maybe you could bring in Kim Fields and you guys have an intimate sit down situation at the hair salon because you know that's where people really go to tell their business at the hair salon. High key, okay, that's why the stylists be doing all y'all tea. But aside from that, you know, maybe you could bring Kim Fields over there. You guys could chat. You know, definitely. I think it would end whatever narrative, you know, regarding you guys. Of course, we did see you pull out her chair or whatever, and you were on her show that she directs over on Netflix. I believe it's called The Upshaws. So that would be a good sit down between the two of you guys to really dead whatever conversations the people would have. I think that would be dope. Or if you wanted to do, you know, more life with Kenya in Brooklyn, right? I think that would be super dope as well, giving the people some vlogs and stuff. So I feel like, you know, I don't think you're missing no checks and then like that. I'm not saying all that. You know, I'm just saying that that would be kind of dope for the people that, you know, might be missing you just a little piece. I want to know what you up to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give me a call. I might have a little piece of an idea here, piece of an idea there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so look into that. All right. Another thing, I kind of want to go ahead and get this out the way before we get into the review. And I am gonna slide over here and hop onto my screen. Let's see. We're gonna hop over here into my screen, and the first thing I think we got into the Watch What Happens Live, right? We talked about the Watch What Happens Live earlier this week. You know, of course, they're saying Porsha said some things was cringy when Drew mentioned the PJ's college and stuff, and we'll get to that later. And also Gizelle speaking on Karen, some of the tweets people are saying about Porsha. Somebody says, I'm gonna hold y'all hand when I tell you this, but this is the person Porsha has always been. Okay. Somebody says, and another thing, Shamia is getting a great edit, but the real Shamia, Portia's right hand, showed up tonight. Fool me once. Shamia. Shamina. Okay. Porsha is so miserable this season. Someone says, Porsha, Dennis is not obligated to you. You're just someone he has a baby with, and you're not family. I'm confused what him filming with Drew has to do with co parenting. Somebody says, Porsha threatened to sleep with the other women's husband as some form of clapback goes to show how much of a gutter snipe she is. Someone says, I love that there is no Kenya to shield Portia's piss poor behavior. She really has benefited from Kenya being the villain all these years because everyone acting like Portia's behavior is new and shocking. That's hilarious. All right. Have y'all watched the show? I would like to point out that Portia slut shamed Kenya for seasons for flirting with Apollo, yet she stole her co-worker's husband and married him, and is now saying she'll fuck Angela's husband. Ooh, someone else says, I really used to be Team Porsha in her rivalry with Kenya. Thank God for growth. Her energy gives spoiled. All right, a mean girl, terrible friend, and a liar. This non issue with Drew is not just boring, but very obviously a distraction from the assignment of it all. She needs to hang it up. Someone says Porsha talking about messing with someone's husband while being pissed at Drew and Dennis for filming together. All right. That's crazy. Someone says, so let me get this straight. Porsha leaves the show back in season 13 and Bolo, and then stealing Simon comes back 3 years later and is saying she'd Charles. Whoa. And people were on here trying to make it seem like she's changed and she's grown. It's crazy. Someone says Trump is going to jail. See, Porsha ain't SHI. I guess that's the name of their page. Trump is going to jail. See, Porsha ain't what type of woman goes around saying she's gonna fuck another woman's husband while on a trip with the wife? She called Drew a low down dirty bitch. But that's who Porsha really is. Whew. Ain't that messy, girl? That's some messy shit. There, let me tell you something. Um, Britannica, no, scoot back. Not you, baby. Not you. Not you. I'm talking about Bernasia, Britannica Bible School. Come to the front. Okay, come to the front Bible study. This here, this is the type of stuff that probably will have you crying and being emotional and stressed the hell out. Okay, because social media is talking and saying all that they saying. Okay, girl, you got me down, you got me stressed out. Like, that is what this is, because I just feel like when you went through what you went through, like, we really didn't know for real, because we didn't really see the show. So I'm still confused as to how the insurance people was like snatching up your license or investigating you, when nothing even aired to the public yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anywho, girl, I'm just letting you know that if you was gonna be down and out, girl, because of what the people were saying. Like, you probably more down and out now than you probably was then. I don't know, but I feel like that would be something more than what you were saying. But anywho, we're about to get into the episode. So we get to the episode the next morning. They pretty much opened up with, of course, the ladies getting ready for their day, and we do see where Britannica goes, and she has a conversation with Mike, and she's completely barefaced. And I have to say, Miss Ma'am is very beautiful. I already think that Miss Edie is a beautiful woman. Okay, take no mistakes. Make no mistakes about it. Taking them from her, I think she's very beautiful. Actually, I think all of these ladies on the show are very beautiful, and her bare-face, very pretty. Shamia's on the phone with her husband. Okay, husband is at the hospital with her daughter getting her checked out, and it's a struggle for Shamia. Okay, it's definitely a struggle for her. She says that there isn't one challenge that she has had to take on by herself, and I have to say, and that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it should be. That's just how it should be in a marriage, in a situation. There shouldn't be one challenge that you face that you feel like you got to go through it by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my now husband showed up for me like that even when we were just girlfriend boyfriend, and even if I had a procedure done and I just felt like it was so small, he thought it was just so big, and he still was going to be right there. So I just feel like that's how that stuff's supposed to go, right? So with that being said, Shamia goes on to say that because, he's such this amazing father, and because, he there hasn't been a challenge that she's had to face where she's faced it by herself, he's deserving, right? And because he's deserving and he wants a child, she feels that she has to give him that. I feel mixed on this, because I feel like there's a line where you want to make sure your partner's happy in a sense, but at the same time, um I feel like because those are things that he's supposed to do, like, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because when we had our son, I didn't have to. That's something I definitely wanted to do because I wanted another child. But I just want it to be a situation where, they both want it, right? And maybe it's just the language. He wants another child. So I feel like I have to give him that because he's so deserving. But you're also so deserving. And I also feel like that is what he's supposed to do. He signed up to be a father. He signed up to be a husband. That's how it's supposed to go, in a sense. But as long as, you both want, kids, more kids and stuff, I say go for it. I do question, and it's no disrespect to her at all. But I'm just thinking about, whether, the time is, how is that going to look in her life, right? I would never want her to have to cut back on a lot, but she does a lot. And I love the fact that she doesn't want to sit around and just be like a housewife, because she can. She enjoys going to work. She enjoys doing things, but she does talk about how sometimes her daughter is like, Mommy, you come here. No, I want you, not daddy. You know what I'm saying? And then having to give so much time to your younger baby, and then giving time to Shiloh, who definitely needs it. Um, will the time be there for the other son? And maybe that's what Shamia said. Maybe that's what she was talking about when she said earlier in the season, I just hope that I have enough love to give, or something like that. She was saying, and I was confused. Are you talking about for your husband or another child? Because she's been through so much. She had the IVF journey that didn't, I guess, go so well. She had ectopic pregnancy, the surrogacy. Some things kind of went wrong, with her getting cancer and things, and Shiloh having her condition. So I think that Shamia definitely has a lot on her. And some part of me feels like, putting the fact that you have to have another child on you, I feel like that's even more stress added on you. But also at the same time, I kind of feel like, if they are going to have another child, some part of me feels like, well, this would probably be the best time to go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it so that you can figure out what your schedule is going to be like, as the oldest baby is getting older, getting into her activities and stuff like that. So I mean, I would think that it would be the better time for them, but I mean, I can't help but wonder if that would be. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm not even sure how that started playing. Um, but I can't help but wonder, like, is that selfish? Is that not? You know what I'm saying? And granted, I do know that they have a lot of money, and they definitely can afford all of the help that they get as they're getting it now, which by the grace of God, I'm glad that they do have that, because I feel like some of the kids that may have, medical conditions and situations, some families are having to manage that without always having the proper help. Okay. And being that resources begin snatched away left and damn right, they're having to struggle even more, to accommodate for their family and their children and stuff like that. So, with her, I'm glad that they have that. But I hope everything comes together for her, and I hope that it's not going to be anything that she would resent later on down the road. Okay. And I'm hoping that, that's coming out right, because I really don't want it to be too harsh as I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that she's a great mom. I definitely think that she'll find a way. But it was just something about that I have to get, like, do you want this too? Okay. I don't want you to resent nothing at a later time. And I also think that Shiloh is deserving of the attention that she needs, and making sure that she's in the best place as you all move forward in that direction to, have another child for sure. Um, So yeah, I definitely wish them the best on that situation. But let's keep getting into it. All right. So Shamia, she's very emotional about this. I do get that, because girl, if I'm on a trip, girl, I will cry in a second too if I want to get back to my babe. But I'm sure I already know how his dad be. Like, even if I'm just out, he's just like, we good, we good. So I definitely understand how she feels, because I'd be wanting to leave right then, bitch. But then at the same time, she is at work. Like, this is work for her. It's entertainment for us, but that is work for her. So, and aside from that, is like, he's a husband. Again, he's a dad. He signed up for that. So you have to give him that space to do whatever it is that he needs to do. But I definitely understand her being emotional. And it's a few things, not being there right there at that moment, but then also sad that her baby has to keep experiencing this and stuff, because nobody want to see their baby sick, not even with a cold. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get it. Cynthia and Angela are outside talking. I'm gonna try to be very demure, but Cynthia, girl, you kind of, yeah, you rose up there on the nerve level, for sure, ma'am. Yes, you did, girl. So she's talking to Angela, and Angela says, last night was rough. It was a bit too much. And I'm like, was it? What else happened? What else? I mean, what was so rough about it? And they flash back, and this is where Britt told her that she could be a bit theatrical sometimes. Miss Edie, this season, I don't know if you're going to get another one, baby, but the first 1 through 8 is not a good look. I don't know if we're going to get 8 more, and it's going to be 16 episodes, or if it's going to be 20 something. I don't know what they're giving us. But Love Bug, this ain't it. Okay? This here is not it. And I feel like you really didn't even do a whole lot to make yourself unlikable. You just are. I just want to, what the fuck? Girl, she can be a bit theatrical sometimes, and you don't think the entire display that you gave down to the bank was theatrical? And I'm just letting you know. Because if I was Angela, I would have cussed your ass out on the spot because I don't know who the fuck you calling theatrical. Okay? What I've done in comparison to what you've done? Oh, no, Becky. You won't do that to me. Okay? No, ma'am. So then Porsha, they showed the shot where Porsha calls her Victimina. Victimina. Funny, but not funny. I think she was piggybacking off of Shamina. All right. So you want to call somebody Mina, so let me do it to you. So Angela tells Cynthia that, Drew got my loyalty in so many words. She got my loyalty. She says, I don't think the ladies really get that. Okay. And I don't think they get exactly how I operate as a friend, because I'm very loyal to my friends. All right. And Cynthia's like, well, girl, speaking of Drew, where the hell is she at? Okay. Well, she had told me she was going to be here. Well, BIT, that's 3 hours ago. Okay. And the flight ain't that damn long. And we only a few minutes outside of Nashville. So where the hell she at? Okay. She probably taking a drive instead of a flight. Okay. But anywho, she coming. So Cynthia says that Porsha feels how she feels. She feels how she feels. And, Drew kind of brought that on herself because, baby daddies hit different. How do they hit? How do the baby daddies, Cynthia, no, have a seat, let's talk. How do the baby daddies hit different? Because it's given that they hit and they left. So I'm confused on how they hit different. Is that the difference that they hit? Some gonna hit and stay, and then some gonna hit and leave, okay? And they'll be around to co-parent, but not in a relationship. So I'm a little confused. And why do y'all feel like y'all own people? Because it's given, you don't own me, okay? You do not own these people. What is going on? She was just getting on my nerves, okay? So, because you better not come over here. Yeah? Nobody better not come over here talking about getting with Leon. Why? You don't own him. Love don't live here anymore. Like, are you okay? You do not own him. Your daughter is how old? In her 20s? And you're talking about what somebody's going to do with your baby daddy. The way that you're falling on this sword to be so much of a friend to Porsha is sick owning to me. I don't know, but it's your opinion. That's how you feel, and this is how I feel. So Angela feels like, I caught some strays last night. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you Drew friend. You only talk to Drew or whatever like that. So I don't really understand why the ladies was coming at me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I just feel like if a person is not here to defend themselves, like, I'm not gonna just sit up here and let y'all just continue to attack them like that. Like, she ain't even here. Like, she gonna be here in a minute. Give it some time. And I'm like, but how is you catching strays? Those are not strays. Like, how were you because you were Drew's friend? You can't say that you loyal to Drew, and then when they tell you that you Drew's friend, you feel like you catching a stray. That's not how that works. You her friend. You got loyalty to her. Okay. And then the other thing to me was you was handling them hoes, really. So what's the issue? Okay. So Cynthia says that she doesn't think anyone has a real issue with Drew aside from Porsha. Angela said, well, they just gonna have to talk this shit out, okay? Don't be over here coming for me, bitch, okay? I'm trying to help y'all out and see the things I get. Yeah, I ain't even much I did then. All right. So Drew does show up, and she says that she wasn't going to come, but she and Porsha do have a friendship from years ago. They've been friends for years. And she says that she wanted to extend an olive branch, okay, to Miss Porsha. So she decided to go ahead and show up. And Drew sees Angela, and she couldn't wait to show Drew which room was hers. Okay. I think Angela did want to get a reaction out of Drew, but I don't think she's setting Drew up. And also, although Drew did get that bunk bed, and she was like, now, first of all, Drew, you did come last, and you already knew all the beds were taken, period. It was a trip that you wasn't even sure you was going to come on, right? But I feel like I'll take the bunk beds, period, because I got a door that I could close when my energy is not at the same level as y'all, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be bothered. I will take the one with the door versus being in that room up there with Kelly now with all the beds dead. No, thank you. Okay, I appreciate it. So, Angela wants her to talk to Porsha. She was like, have you talked to Porsha? She was like, nah. She's like, you need to. It's like, well, what I need to talk to her for? Well, you need to just go on here and just, tell her happy birthday or whatever, and maybe have a small little, chit chat with her or whatever. And so she says, matter of fact, it'll get the heat off me. And then Drew said heat off you. Like, girl, what? She's like, girl, I got some war wounds, honey, because they was over there digging at me last night. Girl, it was a mess. And then Drew said, well, girl, you brought that shit on your own. I don't know why. How am I in it? Okay? This was your idea. You should have took them with confidence. Like, what you want me to do? Okay? Period. All right. And let me tell y'all something. Earlier on when I got the sneak peek of it and we chatted about it with the sneak peek, I, was feeling like, well, Drew, you shouldn't have came. I still kind of feel that way just a bit, and I'll tell y'all why at a later time. But also it was given a birthday trip, right? But it's really heavy on a cash trip. It's really heavy on a cash trip. It's a cash trip that happens to be your fucking birthday. Okay? Because we saw your friends show up and bitch, I haven't seen them no more. No, we saw them for one night only. I'm from out of town. Like, that's what it gave. Okay? So this was she was probably gonna come anyway. The reason I feel like she probably should not have come was the very reason she got up and left. And I did not like to see Drew feeling like that. I do feel like Drew is hurt from the situation. And I would be hurt too if a friend would really think that I would be on them. Right? Like, yeah, it can be guilty by association when you're friends with some people, but then at the same time, I don't do the shit that you do. I don't befriend bitches in their face and then turn around and marry their niggas. That's not what I do. And the fact that you're trying to equate that shit to me, so you ain't the only bitch standing out there on the island by yourself, that would make me feel away. I would get in my feelings. I would be hurt that you would even try and put that shit on me. Like, yeah. So I was like, I kind of wish she didn't even come, because I was like, I know Porsha was gonna have this energy towards her. And I just felt like that wasn't fair to Drew. And I knew she would be coming, one, to escape Ralph, as she should, but then also to make amends with a person that ain't even trying to make amends with her. But she's still hopeful. And I don't fault Drew for trying, because the more that she does try, it still allows us to see the problem in the real person. Right? But yeah, I wasn't like that. I wasn't like that. Like, don't put on to me the type of energy and how you've shown up to be. Don't do that. Cause I wouldn't dare turn, and then I'm on a show with you. Like, I wouldn't dare go and whoop de whoop de whoop. Like, this is business. Now, Drew, my mind would change if it was said and shown, because now you can't even just really go off of what people say. You got to see actual receipts and verify them, that this happened. Then my mind would shift at that point. But right now, I'm rocking with Drew, hands down. Don't care nothing about it. Like, that's some messed up SHI. So anywho, Porsha and Shamia, they're talking, and Shamia says she'll be able to handle herself with Drew being around, right? Because she's getting ready, and Shamia's like, "How you feeling, girl? What's all that? What's good? Like, how you feeling? Like, what's what?" And she's like, you'll be able to handle yourself with Drew. She's like, girl, yeah, like, I'm gonna be good. It's not really her. It's more so Angela, because I feel like that bitch was gaslighting me. Like, girl, like, who does that? Like what? I don't know if Angela was gaslighting her. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about that. I didn't really think it was gaslighting, but it was okay. Okay. Anywho, so Drew saw Porsha, and when she sees Porsha, she told her happy birthday, and she went in for a hug, and Porsha hugged her. Now, for me, this scene was very interesting, considering the fact that just at Kenya's location, when you wanted to go in for a hug, Porsha gave you that energy like, bitch, don't even try it. So the fact that you went in to hug her, I understand that you're on a better intention. And I also understand Porsha saying she's going to be good, she's going to be cool or whatever. But at the same time, it did make me question, like, is this a scheme that both of y'all set up to come to us with the BS? Just a little bit. Because why embrace each other? If you ain't fucking with her, and she ain't fucking with you, why even extend a hug? But I mean, maybe they was just, in a different mood at that time. Maybe it was on something like, okay, we already know that Drew went there with the best intentions, and maybe that's what Portia's. I ain't even gonna be for her. Like, not right now. Like, we good. I don't know. But then it made me feel like shit did for a split second. Did y'all forget y'all was beefing or something? I don't know. Well, not so much as y'all, but Porsha, did you forget for a split second? But anyway, the ladies get on the bus, and they not even on the bus a good 5 minutes before Shamia is crying. I feel like Shamia probably was crying all morning. For real, for real. I don't think it just started on the bus as if she was trying to get any attention or anything, but I do think that she probably was crying all morning because it started early for her. And she's getting emotional, she's crying, and she talks about the abuse situation that happened with her ex-husband. And I did not remember that Shamia was married. She was only married for a year, so it wasn't that long. But it looks like he was like in the business industry, like a business executive of some sort. I believe that he too was also African, from my understanding. He's worked with some big names, one of them being Justin Bieber. So yeah, that's when she said that he was wealthy, well known, and all of that. Yeah, I just didn't know that was her husband. I've never seen his face, but over on Patreon, when we got into it, I put up a picture, showing the guy that she was married to and then her current husband. And you could just look at their faces in my personal, and it was more so the eyes. A shout out to Niecy Dixon, because she always talk about people's eyes. Okay, I do feel like the eyes tell a lot, right? Um, and you can tell they just give off two different energies, two different vibes, two different energies, and it was something in the eye area. Okay, very much so dark, heavy energy over here with the ex. Very much so light, not a worry. Okay, I ain't got no worries. Like, it's just a different. And good for her. Good for her for finding better. Okay, getting better, doing better. So she talks about how he had this friend that obviously did not want to believe her and what she was saying about this man. She tells us a story about their 1 year anniversary, and how on that anniversary, I don't know what was said to him. I can't recall. I don't think I put it in my notes, but whatever it was, it still wasn't enough for him to knock her off her damn feet. Okay, because this ain't no, what kind of shit is that? To knock this lady clean out her red bottoms. And I think he did it in front of people, and she was so embarrassed, and I would have been embarrassed as well. That's crazy. And I'm glad you got the hell up out that marriage, and you didn't sit there and continue to take the abuse, because you don't never sit around and let a motherfucker pound on you. Okay? Yeah. Let's go. Let's get up out of that. So they flashback to when she talked about this previously. I think it could have been Kenya's DV event. And she goes into that story, but she said a lady texted her and pretty much told her, like, I'm sorry, like, you were right, I believe you, or whatever. It may have taken a very long time, took some years or whatever, but you weren't lying, right? I don't know the significance of who that woman was, but just let me know if I'm the only person that was like, why is that part significant to the story? Although Shamia felt validated, I'm like, who was the woman? Who texted her? Was it Phaedra or some shit? Like, who texted her? That person popped in my head, because we'll be seeing her in a few episodes. So, who was that person? I wonder. It probably wasn't Faye. I don't want to put that on Faye. I'm just saying that was my question. Okay. What else happened? So, of course, Cynthia's mom was a part of that. Shamia asked how her mom is doing. Her mom is doing much better, as well. So the group splits up. Shamia, Porsha, and Kelly go to Coyote Ugly, where you have the other ladies. Who was it? Angela, Drew, Cynthia, and Britt. They all go over to the whiskey tasting. So Kelly at some point asked Porsha, like, girl, what was up with your friends? Like, I mean, is they friends with Drew? Like, what was that about? And Porsha says, well, we all friends or whatever. And sometimes when they see me, they would see Drew, but all in all, like, she's friends with them too. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even like so much as my issue, like Drew. It was really more so Angela, because I didn't understand like why she was trying to bring that much attention to Drew. Like, first of all, why would you even set her up like that to bring her on a trip when ain't nobody really fucking with her? Like, you would think that you would want to bring her on a trip, when it's giving like loving, inviting type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So like, why would you do that? Like, I just feel like she was trying to like set her up, and I'm like, I don't think that she was trying to set her up, but I do think that she was trying to overdo her role as a peacemaker, potentially. Okay, but I don't think that she was trying to set her up. I think she was trying to bridge the gap between the both of y'all, because I think Angela may have seen that you was trying to ice Drew out, and she like, I don't follow the pack, I ain't no motherfucking puppet, I don't do none of that. Okay, and that's what we not finna do here. All right. So, and I don't blame Angela for that, because it's like, damn, if you try to ice her out, then who you going to try to ice out next? And I already see I ain't really got no allies, because everybody over there eating out your ass with a straw. So if that's the case, okay, let me at least get my girl back. Yeah. Okay. So, what else happened? Yeah, so Porsha was pretty much just like, why would you do that? She kind of talked about how let me just go in order. So Shamia says that they rode together. So this is Shamia's time where she brings up Angela having an issue with Drew based on the peace brunch, okay? And at the peace brunch or whatever, Shamia says that Angela told her, well, no, when they were leaving, when they were headed there, Angela told her that she was feeling a way about Drew because Drew had a conversation or was talking about her to Kelly. She was talking shit about her to Kelly. This is what Shamia is saying. Okay, Shamia is like, well, I had talked to Angela, you know what I'm saying? We was in a ride, we was riding, and Angela had told me that, you know, she was feeling a way about Drew because Drew was over there talking shit about her with Kelly or whatever the case was, and then they flashed back and it was nothing of what was said, right? What Angela said was like, I heard that Drew was over there talking to Kelly while Kelly was talking shit about me. And I'm not really caring too much about what Kelly says because me and Kelly ain't close like that. That's not really my friend, okay? It's more so Drew. So I'm more interested in what Drew had to say. And for me, I just feel like, listen, Angela has every right to question what her friend said. Because if you're not my friend, then BIT, I need to find out now. It doesn't mean that I have an issue with you. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what was said. Period. Okay? Because I can't have an issue right out the gate with you if I don't know what you said. I know Kelly was talking shit, but I don't know what you talking about. So Shamia, baby, listen, this is where the tide may turn for you. With me, just a little piece, and we're gonna see. All right. I don't like how you tell stories, and I feel like that was validated a bit on Watch What Happens Live. And you know, Porsha can be a liar as well. However, Porsha says that when it came to the cringy moment of Drew and what Drew said about, you know, her music paying for the daughter's college, you came back and relayed a message to her that was so different than how it was shown on TV. And here you are doing the same thing with Angela. Thank God for the flashbacks. Okay? And that, to me, is not a good look. And when I hear that, I feel like, in my opinion, over time, unless you get better edits, it's going to start coming off as to why we completely understand why you and Porsha are friends. Because that apple definitely don't fall too far, and you are who you affiliate with, in a sense. Now, although I feel like it didn't fully apply to Drew, right? When, as we just talked about, with her trying to put the whole narrative out there of her messing with Porsha's baby daddy or whatever the case is, I do feel like it could potentially apply to you, Shamia. And that is a bit disappointing. Okay. And maybe you just have a memory issue, you know, where you just can't recall events accurately. But I know at some point, you know, somebody's going to be like, I'm going to need you to think, bitch, before you speak on me. Okay. I'm going to need you to get your facts right before you speak on me. I need you to know your story before you talk about me. Okay. So at some point, somebody's going to meet you with that energy on the show. So I don't know, girl. And, you know, I'll be honest and go ahead and say this too. And I kind of didn't want to speak too soon because I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I would hate to be on Britannica Bible School Brit Edie side, okay? I would hate to do that because you perceive something that a person said inaccurately, okay? Because what you're saying is that this woman said something about your child or whatever. Maybe she said something about your parent. I don't know. But what I am seeing is 2 times. All right. And Porsha does say on Watch What Happens Live that we're going to see when Shamia tells her what was said at that studio by Drew. So that's going to be 2 instances where you do not relay information accurately. Okay. And I'm going to hate that. I am. I'm going to really hate that. I'm not going to hold you. I am. I'm going to really hate that, girl. But we shall see. I'm gonna let the show play how it plays, okay? Now, Porsha goes on to say, well, if that's the case, if that's how it went down, then that explains exactly that. That explains how old girl Angela handled Drew coming on this trip, okay? So if she's already feeling a way about her, then you're right. She did set her up for everybody to come at her and feel any kind of way. And I said, nah, bitch, that ain't explaining. Okay, not in that manner. It explained the fact that your homegirl don't know how to recall events accurately. That's what it explained. Okay. That's the problem. It explains that your friend just be saying Okay? It explains your friend might have a bit of that botanical spirit in her. Okay? Just a little bit for how she recalls things. That's what it explains, ma'am. Period. Now, let's keep going. Um, And Porsha, let's get back real quick because we were speaking on the cringe situation of what Drew said. I just feel like to say that moment was cringe. I mean, you're entitled to that. That's your child. On the outside looking in, I didn't see that as cringe at all. But what I did see is that you have had worse behavior that was more cringe worthy than what Drew said. Okay. You know what I'm kind of liking a little bit and it's sad about this new season is how hypocritical so many of these ladies are. It's insane. So, Porsha says that if you invited her, then why would you make a thing of it at the table, making everyone, have a negative vibe when she gets here or before she gets here? And I'm like, first of all, Angela didn't do that. You did. Okay. And this is where you and Shamia cannot recall events. Mayetta asked, where is Drew? You said, oh, she's making her crash my party. So when a person hears crash, that means uninvited. So then why is she not invited? And then you go on the spiel without wanting to give the details. And then your sister hops in, gives the details, and then also allows somebody else to say that the girl was sucking zick. And then you go in the confessional and validate that without any facts. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. So if anybody shaped a narrative about Drew and made people want to feel a way about Drew, it was you and your people. That wasn't on Angela. And I hate that you're trying to shift blame just a little bit. It's just, Porsha ain't got nothing going on, baby. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. Porsha ain't got nothing going on. And why do I feel like even if she was still married to Simon, she still won't be trying to give us that either? Because the whole thing is that she don't really want to talk about how they got together at all. And she damn sure ain't trying to talk about this divorce. Yes, she talked about it with her mama. And she may have talked about it one time with the ladies based on how he did her daughter. But he really ain't do shit to your daughter, girl. He did that to you. I don't know if you did that in a moment for people to want to cry with you or something, but he did that to you. You were trying to use that baby girl to get access to that man, and he said access denied. Okay? So, I like, what else? What you got? What's up? What you got going, ma'am? Girl, this a mess, child. Whew, girl, this return is not giving return. This return is not giving return. It's really giving damn near what Porsha Family Matters gave when you thought that was going to be a lick or a hit. And it didn't. I mean, yes, it gave the views because we were tuned in, but it made you look bad. That's, to me, not no different than when Monique left from RHOA. I'm sorry, RHOP, went to Love and Marriage DC with all the fans that she had, and then she started showing up a certain way, and people was like, oh, I don't like Monique no more, I don't like her no more. And I'm like, she's just doing the shit I always saw her. That's what she always been doing. I feel like we at the reckoning when it comes to Porsha. Okay? Damn. I don't know about Porsha no more, girl. We been not knowing about her. She does have her moments where I'm like, okay, I want to give Porsha a chance, and then I'm reminded. Oh, damn. Okay. Ooh, child. Well, good luck to the people. Then another thing I want to highlight is the fact that, Porsha, you sat up there, like I said, you allowed your friend to say that this girl was sucking dick. You got in the confessional, reiterated that's Dennis's thing. That's what he likes. You insinuated that she sucked Zeke, but you the same person that tried to sit up there and when Britt's photo was shown, you want to say it was disgraceful, it was distasteful. You wanted to feel ways about it, disgusting. You want to walk out, right, when it's shown. And she was actively doing that, right? But you don't even got no facts, no confirmation, no receipts. And you sitting up here putting that off on that lady as if that's not disgraceful or distasteful. It's insane. It's insane to me. It's insane. And then the other thing that pisses me off about it is when you sat on Watch What Happens Live, you sat up there and said, oh, well, I'll smash this person, I'll do this person, whatever it was you were saying. It's a game. I get it. But there was a time when you was like, oh, no, it was a love hotel. And you were talking about how you wanted to, I need a love interest. Well, wait. Let me get divorced first, and then I'll move to da-da-da-da-da. Two things I'm going to say about that. One, for Drew to not be divorced first and you to put that fucking narrative out there, that's not cool at all. And I think that's whack, and it speaks a lot to your character. Okay? The other thing is you want to sit up here talking about how you want to wait until you're divorced to get married. But when Simon and old girl wasn't even divorced, you sat up there and swooped in. But now you want to have the morals to wait until you're divorced before you move into the next one. It's comical, I have to say. And I really hate to clock you this way. Okay? I really hate to do it. Okay? But you have to be clocked. All right? It's not cool. I think that's whack. Do better. So then Drew, Angela, and Cynthia and Britt, they're sitting down doing the whiskey or whatever like that. And so Drew decides to get a bottle for Porsha as a gift. She's like, I should get her a bottle. I'm going to get her a bottle, and, I'm going to put our picture on it. And it's going to be cute. So everybody in support of that. Do your thing. So Angela's like, girl, we missed you last night. And of course, they're talking about the night. Angela says that she realized this, Angela, baby, it had to be the whiskey. Angela says, I realized that Porsha was actually hurt last night because, you guys had like a really good friendship, and I pretty much aided and abetted you coming on this trip or whatever without getting her permission, and for that, I'm sorry, like I apologize for that. Basically not apologizing to Drew, but more so for Porsha, for her actions with Porsha. But then I'm kind of confused because then it's like, did you get the permission or did you not get the permission? Okay, because you're saying she didn't tell you this, she didn't tell you that, but you're in this moment right now talking like you should have gotten her permission. Like, you asked her, she didn't say nothing. She left it open-ended, so you did what you wanted to do. And I just feel like stand in that, to me, because you're going to stand on it again later. So what's the need of apologizing right now if you're still going to stand in how you felt with what you did later? Do your thing. Do your thing. Okay? So then I feel like it's the whiskey though. I do. I think it's the whiskey because Angela ended up apologizing more than one time that moment. I said, girl, you is drunk. Okay. So Britt tells Angela, well, it was more about you playing victim. Moment of silence for Britannica Bible School. Girl, you just stupid. Period. Like you're stupid. Um, the victim calling somebody else a victim is crazy. It's just, it's just the fact that you were playing victim. How? How? First, you're going to tell the lady, you like to act like you're catching all of the heat. Well, when you think that you're catching all of the heat, and then you like to act oblivious as to what happened. As if that's not you, ma'am. Ma'am, that is who you are, ma'am. Okay? Angela says, how? How, girl? Tell me. And proceeds to explain how she herself has played victim. Because she never told Angela how she played victim. She only spoke on herself because she really wanted to make this moment about her. Just like she wanted to make that peace brunch about her and what was done to her. Just like she wanted to say, oh, Kenya, you didn't hug me. Oh, Kenya said something about my ring. Everything is about you, ma'am. You, ma'am. How you felt, ma'am. Tell this woman how she has played victim, ma'am. In what way? I don't feel like she has, but I definitely feel like you have, okay? So she goes on to talk about how And she goes on to talk about how, well, at the brunch, I just expected people to support me. I wanted more support, but no one had any level of empathy, at all. It was like you guys were just acting like, me and Kenya are even now. Like, I mean, ma'am, this is how you were able to finesse Bravo. This is how you were able to finesse Bravo, in my personal. Because you immediately went into victim mode, whereas Kenya didn't immediately. Well, I feel like Kenya did go into her mode, but they weren't trying to hear it, right? But you went right on. Oh my God, this happened to me. Like, whoa, 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 why? Like, oh my God. Yes, definitely. The jokes write themselves, okay? So she's telling them how she's played victim herself. Angela says nobody came at you. Angela says, no, the way you came in and sat down was giving entitled, all right? Now, I don't think it's that when she came in, it was giving entitled, but you could tell she was feeling away because as soon as they said the ladies got a chance to talk to Kenya, so we want to give them the opportunity to check in on you, see how you doing. She's like, oh, y'all talk to Kenya, y'all check them. Okay. So it was like right in that moment, she started to feel away. Okay. Like she just automatically, like, why can't they show up for the both of y'all? Okay. She automatically starting to get in her feelings. And so, Britannica says, you weren't in support of me at all. And Drew says, girl, us showing up was showing support. I said, come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Because it was a peace brunch for you. They were showing up in support of you. And then for you to say that nobody was in support of you when Drew ended it by supporting you and telling you that she hate that happened to you. Like, come on. And Drew also told her in that moment when they were sitting at the whiskey spot, she was like, and it was a back and forth, basically saying whatever you and Angela had going on, y'all were going back and forth. So basically, you're going to have to take accountability on that. All right? You're not taking your own accountability for that moment because Angela ain't do shit to her in my personal. When Shamia said she lost her insurance, Angela said, based on what? Soon as she said, based on what, Miss Ma'am got an attitude. Angela didn't get no attitude with her. Then when she said, you could twirl on up out of here to Angela, Drew started laughing. You immediately got an attitude with Drew. So if you thought I would have apologized to her, I wouldn't have, because I feel like what those ladies did was in response to you, to me. So, Britt says that I didn't get a chance to tell my truth. You could have. Shamia gave you the floor for you to explain. And then Angela said, oh, okay, I thought so. And she was like, what, Angela? What? I said I thought so. Well, you could just sit there and shut up. Like, girl, you could have said your part. All right. So anywho, Cynthia says, y'all can't tell her how she should walk into the brunch after something like that has happened to her. I feel like yes, the fuck we can. Now, I can't tell you how to feel about the situation that happened to you because that's what happened to you, right? If that's how you feel, okay. But when you come there and you see that I'm showing up for you and supporting you, bitch, don't get no attitude with me when I just asked a simple question and I ain't even do that shit with no attitude at all. I just said, based on what? I understand that you still raw and sensitive, but just because you raw and sensitive don't mean that I ain't got my own SHI going on and I won't get raw and sensitive right back with your ass, okay? Now, Cynthia says, until it's one of y'all with y'all zick plastered up there, she said, until it's y'all image plastered up there with a zick in y'all mouth, come at me when that happens, okay? So that's what Cynthia says. And although I do agree with Cynthia as far as the picture, being put on display in front of people, and nobody's telling Britt she should not feel away, right? Everybody felt a way about what happened. So feel away, I just feel like the energy I just felt like she was projecting when those ladies didn't come there with that type of energy initially, all right? And also, I feel like it's very interesting, Cynthia. It's real interesting for you to sit up there and not have had your ass at that brunch and to tell them that they can't tell her how she should walk into a brunch when you also didn't have your ass at that bank to know and hear the threats that Miss Girl gave towards Kenya, right? But when you got in your interviews, you wanted to automatically defend her and then use the excuse of, oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't know about that. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't da 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 da. It really was a struggle for you to get out your mouth that she was wrong. So I found that to be very interesting that you weren't there and didn't want to really speak to it, but you also weren't there at the brunch, but you want to be, you got so much to say. Keep the same energy. Just shut up then. Just dance around it like you've been doing. Okay? So, Britt says, how would you come in when you've been at home and crying for 3 days over this? And you guys are worried about how I come into the room? Like, how would you feel? How would you feel? So she starts crying and stuff, and she says, nobody should have been pointing fingers at her after what she went through. I don't know. I feel like it's okay to feel hurt, or disappointed or whatever. It's okay to feel like, dang, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? What happened to her, whatever. But at the same time, to think that people are not going to bring up your action that led to a reaction, to me is crazy. It's a part of the whole thing. And nobody is saying it's right. And I don't feel like enough people are even telling you that you should have never made them threats at her. So, I mean, all of it was wrong. Period. Oh yeah, I said pretty much that I understand, Britt, but at the same time, you made those ladies the enemy when they weren't trying to be the enemy to you in that moment. They showed up there for you, and you automatically was on the defense when the person you should be mad at was Kenya. That's where you should display your energy at. Okay. Drew says that they were missing Kenya, but it wasn't minimizing her feelings. Like, yeah, I was missing my friend or whatever like that, but I wasn't trying to minimize what you were going through. I even acknowledged what it is that you went through. And I said that, but it doesn't mean that I don't get to miss my friend, somebody that I've known for years before I've even known you. Okay, so I think that's a natural thing. When I'm doing Real Housewives, like, I'm used to Kenya being by my side. So for them to make such a dramatic, or not dramatic, but a drastic decision to remove her from the show when they've never done that before, like, that's an adjustment. And it's not that I'm not being sympathetic to what you had going on, but I also miss my friend as well. Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't take away from what happened to you. And so she was like, she gets it or whatever. And so Angela apologizes, right? She says she apologizes to her or whatever if she hurt her or whatnot. Drew did not say motherfucking thing. And that's why I feel like it was the whiskey. And I'm kind of with Drew a bit. Maybe Angela. I don't feel like Angela should have apologized, in my opinion. To me, okay, if anybody were to owe her an apology, it would be Kenya. Kenya has given her that, not so much as a direct one, but yeah. For me, I just feel like Angela met you with the energy that you gave her. And I feel like Drew did the same thing. So I don't feel like they did anything to you, to me. Anywho, that's that. We get to the roundup. Britt comes downstairs in her cowboy outfit or whatnot. That I did think her outfit was cute. What else? Porsha comes downstairs, baby. They supposed to be dressed up like child, they supposed to have on their attire, honey. And Porsha said, fuck that, okay? I'm pissed the hell off. I'm coming in all blacks, okay? Like the man. Period. So she comes down, her all black. She got a new mood, a stank attitude. She says that she learned that Dennis and Drew had been filming, and now she's bad all over again. Okay? Now, I feel like I kind of want to blame Drew and Porsha, or even just blame the producers, because I feel like either y'all, well, they didn't really do a lot of filming that day, but when they did, everything was cool. So I don't know if y'all realize y'all gotta have some friction, or if the producers like came and said like, hey, y'all gonna have to have some friction. Y'all been a little too cool. We didn't invite Drew up here for this. Like, y'all gonna have to get something started. Or if the producer, the friend, just went and told her that information in an effort to get her in a bad mood. Okay, but whatever it was, it switched the vibes up. So everybody's down at the table and they see how Porsha and Drew, they see Porsha pretty much in her feelings. But before we get to that, everybody, they asking her what's wrong. They ask her what's wrong, and she says that it's the medicine. She's tired. Okay, now I ain't gonna lie, it was a bit of a kiki. Okay, Porsha wasn't trying to give them nothing. Nothing at all. So Angela and Britt start talking about the whiskey tasting, and she's like, "Oh, we got some things accomplished or whatever. We resolved some stuff." And they're like, "Okay, well, what was it?" Angela, you want to let them know? Yeah. Well, you said that I sometimes play victim, and girl, I ain't gonna even lie to you. And I'll be honest, girl, I don't know what the hell you talking about. Bitch. I don't know about playing no victim or nothing. You did say that you agree with Porsha. Y'all shared the same sentiments. What you called it, victimina? What you said? I'm trying to figure out what you was talking about. So Shamia jumps in and says that, she said that you were like gaslighting her or whatever it was that she said. And so let me go back. So Britt says that she didn't yeah. So she said something about gaslighting. But before we get to that, when Angela says something about the victim thing, Britt says that, oh, well, that means you didn't get anything from it. She couldn't, ma'am. You spent the time talking about how you were the victim. You didn't tell her. So she couldn't get nothing from it if you didn't tell her what she did. Okay. So Shamia said something about gaslighting. Angela asked, how? That's what I'm trying to find out, like, how? I'm asking you a question. Porsha said, I don't remember. So Britt says, you wanted Drew to come when she wasn't invited. Angela says she didn't tell me that. And that's what I'm saying right there. If you're going to stand on the fact that she didn't tell you that or whatever the case, then why are you apologizing? Even though Porsha didn't hear it, but why are you saying that to the ladies? Like, oh, I'm sorry because, I was really pushing this thing for y'all to get y'all friendship back together. And I didn't even, get permission from Porsha, to invite you up. But like, so why are you, it was the whiskey. Okay. So, and Shamia says, well, she may not have said that, but you knew that everybody on the call was invited. Like, Drew wasn't on the call. Drew, did you get a call? She was like, no, I didn't get a call, whatever. But all in all, Angela was like, how I'm supposed to know that? I figured Drew probably didn't, she probably missed the call. But Angela does find that out at a later time. She does, when Drew tells her that she was never invited to the call, right? But Angela did ask Porsha again about bringing Drew, and she still didn't give her a yes or no. So she said, okay, come on in. All right. Now, y'all let me know in the comments if you felt like that was Angela trying to set Drew up by bringing her on this trip, or if you feel like that was Angela just trying to mend fences with Porsha and Drew. I feel like it was more so a situation of you trying to ice my girl out, and I'm not gonna let it happen. So if you ain't gonna give me no definite no, I'm still gonna bring her. And I feel like even if Porsha would have said no, Angela still was gonna bring her. Period. So Angela apologizes again. Like, Angela done gave y'all like 3 apologies in one episode. Okay. Yeah, so Angela apologizes and says that she doesn't know why she's the only one that's being held accountable. Baby, this deflection was everything. Because she turned to Kelly and said, like, didn't you have a question? And I don't even know if you really got the answer, right? So didn't you, did you have a question or whatever? Did you ever get your answer? And she says, I'm just trying to figure out why Portia's never held accountable for anything. I said, baby, I love this. Kelly says, well, wait a minute. I got my answer. But that's 2 different situations. Angela said, no, it's not, baby. It's not. Okay. Because accountability is accountability. Okay. And we've been on me for a little bit, and now we finna get on this for a little bit. Okay. Thank you. So, let's get on you for a little bit, ma'am. And I'm just trying to find out like what's really going on, because, we want a true answer to that. Okay. And she may have told you, because you asked that question in front of the group, but she met with you privately and probably gave you an answer, but she didn't answer it in front of the whole group. So, again, accountability, we're waiting. Can you go ahead and let us know like what's really good? Like, what's up? I said, come on, Mafia Angie. Come on, Mafia Angie. You better be ready, baby. Let's go. I loved it. So Cynthia says, I think we can move on. Okay. I think I am being protector in this moment. Okay. I am trying to be the friend and support Porsha in this moment. So I think that we can seize this conversation just a bit. Porsha, do you want to answer her question? Did you want to? No, she could kiss my ass. I'm not gonna talk. That's what Angie can do. Okay. So then Cynthia's like, okay, well, I think we can move on. We can move on. And Angela was like, no, ma'am, the world can kiss your ass, but not me. Porsha said you first. I was like, girl, you sound like Quad. When Quad had told what her name was, Simone, to shut the fuck up. And Simone said it back, and she said, I asked you first or whatever, child mess. So anywho, Cynthia talking about, I think we should just move on. No, we not. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. I am. Okay? I'm staying right here because we've been talking about Drew and Dennis for 8 fucking episodes. Okay? 8 of them. And we could be digging into her for a little bit. So, yeah, no, we're not. Did you tell her to move on? Did you tell her to move on? Or did you just pacify her when you're trying to find out what's going on with her and Drew's friendship and you thought they were cool and this and that? And then you want to sit up there and talk about you get it because your big grown old as a baby daddy bitch. Man about in his 50s or 60s, still look good. Don't get it twisted, okay? However, grown as fuck. Had y'all child 20 umpteen years ago, and you sitting over here talking about how this person shouldn't work with him or do this or that. Are you okay? Nah, we gonna stay. I'm staying right here. And we waiting on that answer. So when you gonna get into your storyline for a little bit and stop using this lady? Huh? Let's talk about that. Shit, girl, go on. So then Angela says, baby. Angela says she don't want to kiss Fix a Flat. Baby. Not Fix a Flat. Ooh, woo, 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 woo. Okay. Drew asks if Porsha is good. So this is Drew. Okay. Now, Angela, you better wear them out at the reunion like you be wearing out them confessionals. Now, you be giving it to them a little bit in person, okay? But you be eating in them confessionals for sure. But make sure you got that same energy. You did tell us that the reunion was going to be good. That's what you said. So, okay. Be ready. Be ready for them. All right. So Drew's like, well, I just want to ask Porsha, like, are we good? Am I good with being here? Because I know that I wasn't invited. Porsha said, you straight? Ooh, 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 ooh. Like, girl, you straight? Ooh, just goodness. Somebody don't really, like, Porsha was really mad about something. Can I be honest? I feel like it wasn't even about Dennis. I really don't think that it was about Dennis and her filming. It could have been, potentially. I feel like Simon about did something. And it pissed her the fuck off. I don't know if Simon put another tweet up. I don't know if she had got some news from her attorney. But yeah, I think it has something to do with the divorce, potentially, which is why her whole mood shifted. Not so much as Dennis and Drew, but that's what I think. So then Drew asked, yeah, if they're good or whatever. Porsha says she's straight. I honestly would not have asked Porsha anything in my personal because I'm here. Whether I was invited, like, it's not a point of asking that question now. So I'm like, did producers come to you and tell you to ask that? Because it's so irrelevant. Are we good because I'm here now? I know I wasn't invited. Like, I'm not going to ask you none of that. Like, I'm here. What are we doing? How you feel does not matter to me. You going to feel how you want to feel anyway. And I'm not at a place where I'm going to convince you to think otherwise. We're good, love. I'm here. Dear God, I'm here. All right. So then Drew tells her, well, I brought you a bottle of whiskey, and I thank you guys for having me, but I'm going to go ahead and go. All right. I've tried to extend the olive branch. She's giving me nice, nasty energy, and I really don't have to deal with this. I'm going to go. So then you got Shamia like, well, Drew, wait, Drew, no, let me say, no. Drew, you got to let me explain. You got to let me respond. She ain't got to let you do shit because she wasn't talking to you. Okay. She was not talking to you. Why she need to let you respond? Respond to what? Okay. So anywho, Shamia wanted to respond. We got into that. So Drew leaves and you can tell she's hurt. Porsha acting like she the only person hurt and the only person that can be hurt by something. Right? So Porsha goes in her confessional and then she insinuates the very things that she did to Fallon, which is crazy to me. Okay. Saying that, you hopped your ass on a plane and you snuck around with the woman's baby daddy and did things behind the scenes, and now you want to feel away and you want to leave, sayonara, whatever it was that she said. And it's like all of that was not necessary, and you continue to insinuate these things about this woman. Now, maybe she did mess with Ty. I don't know what she did when y'all was putting that on her the last season. But with this Dennis thing, I thoroughly do not believe it. I do not believe that. And I just feel like you trying to put her on the same level as you. Just a little piece, and I don't like that. So there's that. Porsha says that Drew is being dramatic. And I'm like, how is Drew being dramatic when you literally are giving a dramatic reaction by not reacting? And then when you do react, you're like, oh, she kissed my ass. Oh, you straight. Like, you don't think that's dramatic coming downstairs and not saying anything, not even participating in the whole attire thing or whatever? And like, you don't think that's being dramatic and you're all black? Okay, well, I don't know why. Who did? I mean, whoever did something to you, I just feel like they ain't there. The issue is with Dennis. He ain't even there. So, Drew goes on to say that, not Drew, I'm sorry, but Porsha does go on to say that she says in the confessional what the real issue is to me. She says, if these men weren't on my ass, I would have burned this whole thing down or I would have set things on fire. And I'm like, well, that's your issue. The issue are the men in your life. It's not the women. It's not Drew. It's them niggas. And since you can't handle Simon like you really want to, and since you don't have the control over Dennis like you want, the only person you about got mind control over, Debo, is going to be Drew because she allowed you to affect her like that. So she says she done trying, and I would be done too, honestly. What else? So Porsha tells Cynthia that she has a lot. So yeah, Porsha ends up leaving, which is also interesting to me because you sat up there and you were saying that Drew was being dramatic, but then you get up and leave too. So who's being dramatic? So of course Cynthia goes up there to check on her, see if she good or whatever. She says that she has a lot going on and her energy wasn't really towards anybody really. All right. Porsha is now saying that it's really the baby daddy. Okay, and her seeing her storyline collapse. That's what I'm saying. Seeing her storyline collapse right before her damn eyes. Okay, that's what it is. How she saw herself and envisioned herself coming into this season has all crashed the hell down for her. And that's why she's in the state that she's in, okay? And trying to put it off on other folks just a little bit. She says that she also says that she her issue wasn't with Angela at all, so she don't even know why Angela was really like coming at her like that. And then she says that the issue wasn't all Drew. Basically still trying to put some fault on Drew, but the other fault on Dennis. But then she does go into the confessional, right? And finally says what we've been saying by saying that the issue has always been with Dennis because he is the one that made the agreement with her and he gonna be the one to get all the smoke. But that's how it should have been from the beginning. But he's not really on this show like that. So we already know what's going on. So Kelly and Britt talk about last night, and Britt says that Angela recorded them from the window, and Angela says she heard her name. And I'm like, girl, you ain't hear your name. You was already listening, bitch. That's what that was. You wasn't listening out. Because I'm telling y'all, at the end of the day, we may like Angela, but Angela's sneaky, period. Angela was already listening to them hoes. And she was waiting for them to bring up her name, baby. I don't know why you wasn't already recording talking about you talking on the phone with Charles. Not you on the phone with Charles and then you just happen to magically hear your name. No, bitch, you was already listening. I don't blame you. Okay. So she's up there listening and then she heard somebody say something about her. I think they was talking about her clothes or whatever. Talking about her, and then Porsha said something like, well, she better watch out before I fuck Charles. She better watch out before I fuck her husband. Oh my. So Angela was like, okay. Now first she started recording y'all, but it was a short clip. So she decided to go ahead and go down them stairs. Miss Ma'am went down them stairs, baby, and asked, what was it? What was it? Who said what? Did y'all say my name? Say my name. Say my name. Okay. Did y'all say my name? Because I'm trying to see what's up, because you know it's giving Candyman over here, but you stay it long enough, I'm going to pop up on you. So what was said? And Porsha was like, I can't take the heat. I got to get the hell up out the kitchen. Let me run. Let me run. I'm not on camera. Let me run. So, baby, Porsha jetted up out of there, honey. And why? Porsha, why you left? Why did you leave? You didn't want to see what kind of glue was on her motherfucking head that night? Did you not want to find out the type of glue that was on her head that night? Why you running? Don't run. Come back. Anywho, so she pretty much confirmed it. That's what she said when she got on Watch What Happens Live, because she apologized before she even went into the spill of it all. And then talking about something, we was just spilling tea. We was just giving our tea. There wasn't no tea to give. Okay? Unless that was an intent of what you were going to do. So, yeah. I ain't mad at Angela for recording yet. Just a little piece. So when you try to sit up there and lie, she can show exactly what it is that you said. Girl, terrible. Anywho, and Kelly told on you. I love how Kelly may be cool with Porsha and may think that she got a friend. Thought she had a friend. And Kelly gonna tell it every time. No, this what she had said. She had said that she would fuck that lady husband. That's what she said. Okay? And Angela was like, and based on history will tell us that she will follow through on it. Okay? So I can't trust her. I don't trust her at all. Baby, the next morning, Kelly tried to walk up on Angela. I loved how Angela responded to her. Not gonna hold you. Like, I don't even want to be fake. Like, I'm not, good morning. Not, yeah, I'm not even finna stand up and try and hug you, girl. It's not giving that type of energy. I don't even want to be fake with you, boo. Just go ahead and back up out my face. Please get the fuck out my face. Okay, good morning. And we about to go ahead and move on, collect my stuff and leave, baby. When she was leaving, she said everybody is puppies to Porsha. I kind of agree. I mean, we already saw the yes ma'am and Miss Edie sent over there in the after show. We see how Shamia try to overly have her back, as well as Cynthia. The only person I would say that's not necessarily out of that group is a puppet to Porsha would be Kelly. It would be Kelly. That's what I think, okay? But that was pretty much the episode. Now, I did not get into this earlier, and I meant to get into this earlier, but I want us to check out what Miss Gizelle Bryant had to say when it came down to the Kenya Moore situation. Real quick. Oh, thank you so much, Brandon, for the super chat, because Jami is my favorite content creator. Thank you, boo. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. I want us to hop into what Gizelle had to say about Britannica. So let's get this up on the screen. There we go. All right, let's check this out and see what she has to say about the whole Kenya versus old girl situation.
Are you hopeful that Kenya will come back to Atlanta?
I would like that, and I'll give you my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
We had Kenya, who called Pistol Girl.
Pistol Girl is
a
crazy.
peasant.
Yes.
But that's kind of like a rite of passage. Like, Kenya's probably called me a peasant at one point in time. I'm not even on the show, right?
Same. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, thank you, right?
Yeah.
And that was turned into, I'm going to get a pistol, right? That's like, wow.
Right.
So had she been, this is also a person that's probably not been with Bravo for more than 30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you should have been fired on the spot.
For the pistol comment. Yeah.
And so we never would have gotten to the
hair care moment.
Yes, hair care moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have never even gotten there, because that should have been nipped in the bud immediately. It would have been on Potomac, I'm going to say that.
That's okay.
So if one is gone, they both should be gone. If one is there, they both should be there.
Right.
Okay. Are you hopeful that Kenya will come back to Atlanta?
I have to agree with Gizelle on that. I definitely agree. I feel like Kenya should have been able to come back to redeem herself the same way Miss Edie was able to come back and express how she felt based on what Kenya did. In addition, if which she does, Britt wants an apology from Kenya, I think that if Kenya was going to give her that apology, it should have been done on the same platform that the disrespect happened on. So I definitely think that Kenya should have stayed on the show. Pistol Girl is crazy though, PG, okay? What else did I want to say? As I think about Gizelle, I thought about this and I forgot to mention it. It's just real interesting when you could tell when Bravo has their favorites, right? It just be kind of like slick obvious to me, because Porsha is definitely one of their favorites. Hands the fuck down, all right? And I feel like Gizelle is another one. But is it crazy that I feel like Gizelle is so much of a favorite that if that would have happened to her, that person wouldn't have made it to the next season? Gizelle wouldn't have been gotten off the show if she would have did what Kenya did. I think Gizelle would have stayed, in my opinion. I think that the old girl may have stayed too, but she wouldn't return for another season, for sure. I feel like Gizelle is a fave because when I saw that she's doing this Love Hotel, I'm like, bro. And then when I saw her and Porsha together, it made me remember the show that they had during the pandemic, the virtual show that they did. I think they both have went on to do Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Porsha went on to do Porsha Family Matters. And then you got Gizelle doing Love Hotel. Like, you could tell who they faves are. You know what I'm saying? Based on the different opportunities and platforms that they give them on this network. You know, so that's real interesting. I guess Kenya was no longer a fave, especially after she went off and she got married without them knowing, and they missed out on the opportunity to capture that on Bravo, and also gave pictures and an exclusive to People magazine. So I mean, I understand them likely feeling away, but it seems like ever since then it's been a little shaky, potentially, right? And they probably was waiting on a perfect opportunity, and I think she helped them out with that. So yeah, very unfortunate. So if there's ever been a person where they probably didn't like Kenya, maybe one of the producers, but didn't have enough oomph to really get her out, she definitely helped them out with that. And I feel like that's possible because when I think about when Rashida and Kirk talked about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Kirk was talking about how Rashida doesn't like one of the producers. And I'm like, okay. It's possible to be and they probably don't like her as either, right? But y'all stuck working together until one of y'all not working, right? And I feel like it's no different in corporate where you may not like an associate or somebody on your team or a lead or whatever the case is. But the moment that lead gets the opportunity, and if you get them a layup, they're gonna get your ass up out of here because they probably been trying to do that anyway, right? And you just help them out with that. So yeah, but those are my thoughts, and that's all that I have at this time. I'll leave you guys to have your conversations and things down below in the comments. I thank you all so much for being here for this live. I'm JamiThatsMe. You can find me over on the Instagram, the Twitter, Blue Sky, all of that at JamiThatsMe, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, tell him I preach to the choir, stand with my feet to the fire, give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it.